Hello and welcome to Geeks of the Round. Tonight we're doing a Blacklist discussion. I am Todd Grundle, making sure I'm not blue box, so you don't have to look at my ugly face for 5 minutes. With me is, starting on my left or right, whatever, we have Johan Phillips. Hello, Johan.
Yes, hello, Toad. How are you?
Good. And then we have Matt Moore. How you doing,
You can
Matt
call
Moore?
me Mott Moore. If you're
Matt?
intentionally Mott Moore, if you're intentionally mispronouncing names.
Matt. Yes, so we're here to discuss the Blacklist. I'm having a horrible hair day and complexion day. I wish I wasn't on a camera. I feel like a lady.
That's why you're supposed to wear a hat. The hat like hides the hair, and no one sees your complexion if you're wearing a hat.
What about my Jedi hood?
There you go.
Does that work good? Yes.
You know
yes.
that's how YouTube channels are spawned. You get a distinct look, and people subscribe to that shit.
Well, subscribe to us. I am wearing a hood and I have a beard.
Yes, you look all mysterious with your hood.
You will
Hey.
subscribe. You will subscribe.
Hey, if you start making money off that, you got to cut me in on 10%.
Bong. That means done deal in Brooklynese.
Okay.
Wait.
So let's jump right into this. Personally, I think this show is hitting a stride. I think it's getting better. It started out brutal. Personally, yeah, I think so. I think it's figuring out. It didn't stick with its formula completely today. It only dropped into the whole isn't he her father thing towards the end, and it picked up its pace and it focused on its story. And I enjoyed that because, you know, we know the characters now, and now we're getting to see a little bit of brutality. Started right off with a murking and a hand getting cut off, and then it said, "Get me Red Reddington."
Right. Yeah. No, the opening was certainly interesting enough. I mean, with the whole shooting up the van and coming off and everything.
Just get to it then. You seem like you didn't like it.
No, all right. I'm gonna say this. I realized this today. Again. Well, we've been saying this for the past 2 episodes. We were saying how this show it's procedural. It's it's routine. See, but and the thing is, like, the show was meant to cater to a mass audience, but at the same time, by doing that, by them trying to cater to all these different people, they lose, I think, of their key audience, which is like people like us.
Because no, I don't think we're their key, but I don't want to interrupt you. Continue.
No, I mean, okay, maybe that was the wrong word for it, but my point is that I was watching this show tonight, and let me point out, tonight I was watching this episode completely unfactored. I was all by myself, my dog was sleeping, and yet I had such a hard time really paying attention to it because of the way I mean, those slower parts were good, but there wasn't enough of it for me to pay close attention.
So wait, this action show wasn't slow enough for you today?
Well, what I mean by that is that it's just constantly, it feels like there's just constant cutaways. There's, even when there is a moment of like maybe a conversation between the two characters or something like that, it always seems to jump into another cut or another edit. I mean, jump to another scene or whatever right away. And it doesn't give you, at least for me, and again, this is just my opinion, of course, but at least for me, I don't think it gives it enough time to soak in properly.
Me personally, I think that if it's a good show, just enjoy the show and don't delve into every little thing. This is from the guy who used to nitpick on Breaking Bad, so you can feel free to ignore me.
You have to nitpick on Breaking Bad. The show is so... When you see something that's so pristine, you've got to find the flaw.
Yeah.
It's just human nature.
But my point is, by them trying to cater to such a mass audience, because I think that today's audience everyone has ADD. This fucking show gives me ADD. Like, I'm watching it and it's just like, I don't know.
I don't think I could fully agree with that, because today I actually found myself paying attention. Like, I felt like I followed all the threads well. I thought it was an easier to follow episode. But like Matt was saying, with this kind of show, you just, if you like it, you watch it and you enjoy it for what it is. It's like a Twinkie. You don't dissect a Twinkie, because when you dissect a Twinkie, you realize it's full of shit. It's full of poisons and chemicals, and that cream filling is not cream filling, man.
Yeah.
It's something ungodly from somewhere unspoken. And,
exactly.
But it's delicious. You put that Twinkie in your mouth, you fillet that Twinkie, and it is delicious. And that's how I feel about this show. I am filleting this show.
Well, if that's how you feel.
I see all the flaws.
Maybe I'm strange. I'm merely watching it. Maybe I'm a voyeur. Maybe that's how it works.
I'm doing that
I like
too.
to get in there.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm watching. It's just like I was saying. I'm finding it very hard to pay. Maybe it's just because I do have ADD.
It's the douchebags in suit syndrome. You're a criminal, Johans. You're a born criminal. It's hard for you to watch policemen speak.
Yeah, exactly. It's just I don't care. It's like I don't care what the CIA and FBI are saying. Get back to James Spader.
I like what they're doing with the music. I do feel like they're following the show The Following, however. Because The Following relied heavily on 90s music, or sort of like almost that grunge. So, I mean, I know Sympathy for the Devil's not 90s, but it was really popular in the 90s.
And I like The Following. I do.
I've only seen 3 episodes. I really got to finish it. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
No, I think it's a really good show. It's actually one of the shows that's good at what it does. And to me, the Blacklist just isn't doing it,
I don't know. It seems like it's going to get more brutal. I disagree, too. Even with the next week's coming attractions, the show seems to be picking up a speed. It showed us who it is, and now it's going to do what it does to us.
I'll admit, next week's episode does look good. I will admit, it does look good. I will be...
All I know is this episode started with a shooting through bulletproof glass, by the way, and then the chopping off of a dead man's hand. I think that is pretty brutal.
Right.
The opening was brutal. The opening had my attention. No, I'm saying that when we started really getting into the episode,
we got more flavor with them. In the end, when Reddington is at that table and he's sitting there alone and he's
I love that.
And then it goes to Elizabeth Keene, and she's surrounded by people, but she's alone as well. It's definitely, I noticed it's going in a bit of an artsy way, because if you listen to some of the score it uses and some of the music it uses later on, it definitely jumps back and forth from being a popcorn, beef kind of film to trying to be something serious. And I'm liking it. I'm liking what it's doing. But yes, I feel everything you're saying completely. But I don't give a shit. It's to be expected on a network television.
No, I agree with that. I do. I'm just saying, for me, it's not working. Like, The Following is that way too, but I was actually really enjoying The Following, and I'm looking forward to a second season. But Blacklist just isn't doing it for me. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well,
I'm just curious whether or not the Blacklist would have been better served being on a cable station.
I think so.
I don't know. I mean, they would be a different show. It would be more like 24 if it were on a cable. It would be more along the lines of it would be darker, and I think it's got a lightness to it that works really well when scenes come, like with that Chinese man who he was talking to about meditation and about not seeing his family for 2 years, and then 2 minutes later he's murdering the guy in cold blood to protect Elizabeth.
Right. That was a good moment.
You know, it might have been they might have been able to do it better. Yeah, but I don't know. I think the show balances the light and the heavy well, and I think it might not work so well. I mean, you really don't need him cursing.
Yeah, but if it were on a cable station, we'd see Elizabeth Keene's breast by now.
Or at least some side boob.
I guess so. I don't know. Her jaw's too square for me. Says the man in the hood with the beard and the shitty complexion. Let's see. What else would I got in these notes here? Hand cut off. Get me Raymond Reddington. Oh, we learned that he likes to play with himself in private.
Yeah. No, that was a great line, though. I thought that was funny when he was sitting at the chess table in the park.
Yeah.
And
he was very quippy in this episode.
Yeah. He was like, I prefer to play with myself in private.
That's just it. Is the character itself is very hands-on, and Elizabeth Keene laid it out a couple episodes ago that he's as comfortable in a boardroom as he is like sipping wine, or basically like he's as comfortable killing a person as he is comfortable in a boardroom as he is comfortable in a restaurant sipping wine.
I think the line she said was he is as comfortable in a boardroom, or he said, or maybe she said in like a fucking restaurant drinking wine, as he's as comfortable as being like squatting in. She said something about him like sleeping in a fucking shack or some shit. I think
that's what it was. Yeah.
Like with the insurgents. I mean, he definitely laid a lot of cool lines down too, like that. Like I spent a horrible month in a hole, or you know, I want to know about this guy's backstory, and I really hope we get a lot of that. I mean, this show has a whole lot of potential. I think it could be really campy and cool, without being too campy. Like I think it hits a lot of marks, and I'm actually surprised with you, Johans. I really thought this was your bag.
Everyone give me Johan a dirty look.
Maybe I need to watch the episode again. I don't know. Yeah, I think I need to watch the episode again. But I'm just saying, the first time around, I don't know. It just wasn't doing it for me.
Well, next thing after that playing with himself in private thing, Elizabeth's husband, we find out he's back in full health until we see he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. And what do we assume he is? Do we assume he's an agent of some sort?
I actually think he's a CIA person. I think everybody around her is CIA or something like that. Because they did make a point to bring up the CIA as a potential enemy today, and like not necessarily an enemy, but sort of an opposing force to the FBI guys who were there or something.
Okay.
But I think everybody is the CIA, and the guy who was eating the peach, I think that's Elizabeth's father, the one who set up the surveillance in her house.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that might be her father.
Yeah. I don't know, because like when he was when they were in the limo or in the car or whatever, and James Spader was saying to her, you know, like if only the question was as easy as the answer, or whatever he said. I don't remember. But,
he said the answer is not as simple as the question, and the question is not simple at all.
Okay, right. Yeah.
That's just it. Is obviously his connection with her seems very familiar, or not familiar, family-like.
Familial?
Yes,
yeah.
That's the word I was trying to pronounce. However, I think it's too obvious to make him her father, so I'm thinking maybe uncle.
I was going to say uncle, and that he's actually trying to protect her from her father, his brother. And, you know, because his brother, I don't know why, but, you know, he's got some malicious intent towards his daughter or something. I don't know.
Now do me a favor. Refresh my memory real quick. How much did they say about her father in the first episode? Like,
how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? They said that her father had a criminal background, and they wondered why it did not show up in her background check.
Oh, okay, all right. So we do know her father is a criminal of some sort.
Nah.
All right. Well then, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a strong chance that the guy, like you said, the surveillance guy could be her father. Who knows?
That's a question. Is why wouldn't it have shown up in her background check? It's like
Because they're all CIA.
I'm working with the theory that Red Reddington is that this is my personal theory. It's my wild accusation from last time I was on here 2 weeks ago, in that Red Reddington is sword fishing the entire thing. He's always been a good guy. He will always be a good guy. He did bad things for the good guys. That's my theory. But what if he's not the only one? What if both brothers did that?
Okay.
And
So
then
you're saying,
that's why it didn't come back in the background check.
So you're basically saying he's the good guy who gets his hands dirty.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I agree, and I think that is the best place for the show to take it, because you can't help but like the character. And
No, he's very likable, and you know what? In my honestly, he's the only thing that's keeping the show alive for me. I do love James Spader. He's great in the show.
Well, you'll be happy to know that James Spader probably loves you too.
And you'll also be happy to know this is just in. James Spader is actually signed up to return for more episodes.
Oh, all right.
He'll be here all
Okay.
season.
Well,
I would assume that he'd be in as many episodes as there are, considering he's the star.
yeah. Well, you know, he's gotta find some time to do Avengers too.
And all he's got to do is talk into a microphone.
Oh, that's right. He's just doing the voice.
And you know what? What other points do you guys have that you wanted to bring up? Because we pretty much covered most of it in the notes. Because that's the thing. There's not a whole lot. There's not, and that's the whole the Twinkie thing. You know,
Right.
This isn't a big meal. This is a snack. It's a treat. And
You eat in like 3 or 4 bites.
yeah, you eat it in 3 or 4 bites, and you
Yeah.
enjoy it for what it is, or you don't. You like chocolate or you like vanilla. You know.
Right.
Well, I want to point out that he was using a conversation about a distraction as a distraction. Do you remember that?
Yes. That was cool.
Vaguely.
Although, I will say, it was when he was with the Chinese guy. I kind of felt he was a dick. I know the Chinese guy's a spy killer, but that's why I would fail as one of those kind of criminals or whatever, one of those people. I have a real hard time double-crossing people, even when they deserve it. It's just, when you build someone's trust up, and then that poor Chinese man's face, Wu Jing, when the FBI pulled up on him, it's just like, you know, I just like killed one of my loyal people, and you know, it's really you, the master criminal of them all. You're really the guy who just turned me into the feds. I don't know. I just feel bad. I felt bad for him. Does that make me a dick?
Yes.
One of many.
No,
One of many.
I actually have some intrinsic problems with this show, and that is part of it. Actually, is you have this bad guy who's going to be thrown in the deepest, darkest jail, who's got all these connections. You don't think that bad guy is going to tell somebody, Red Reddington set me up?
That's a really good point.
I mean, there's that, and there's the fact that the FBI is letting Red Reddington. I know they've got a tracker chip on him, but they've got Red Reddington wandering around town, still doing deals, still killing people right in front of an FBI agent.
Essentially unchained. And calling shots, like, no, that we're not doing that. Like, literally, when that one woman suggested a plan, he just looked at her and says, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
I like that is... I know that there's a suspension of disbelief, but that is a huge a suspension. I mean, that really is. To just assume that the FBI is going to let him continue brokering deals. Because that's how he found out about this, is someone came up to him to broker a deal.
Yeah, that is definitely something I found about the show, that there is that suspension of disbelief factor that does get you sometimes, and sometimes it does get a little bit too much into the cheese. I love a good James Spader quip, but I think we had 4 of them in this episode. Maybe we should only get 1 per episode, because it's like stuff like that that sort of does kill the credibility of the story itself. But that is, I guess, kind of the question. I mean, is this about the story, or is this simply about Red Reddington being a sly devil? Where are they going? Like, do they really care about the rest of their cast and the rest of their story, or are they just trying to run a James Spader vehicle as far as they can?
Yeah.
It's kind of seeming
That's a good question.
now. It's seeming right now that they're just running that Spader train for the moment. That doesn't seem too much.
Are we going to end up talking about Elizabeth Keene's fiance?
Yes, that is a big conversation, a big point of it, because she did some sort of ballistic test with the gun. She shot a phone book under a bag of peas, and then she sent that in, and it came back when she finally got it back at the end of the episode, which was a bit ambiguous because she put her rings back on, sort of like she was reconciling, accepting her husband, or maybe she was putting the rings back on reluctantly, saying, "Oh, I have to play the role of somebody who doesn't know that the love of my life is a fraud." I wasn't exactly sure of that motivation. It's a bit on that Keene's acting.
I'm pretty sure I know the motivation on that.
Do tell.
She was coming home. Okay, rings and things like that, personal items. When you have the possibility of being kidnapped and tortured, is not something you want. So you take them off when you start your day. You put them on at the end of the day. I don't think it was this big old scene. I think it was she was putting her rings on so she could go home.
Okay.
Well, but the part that's got to weigh in the fact that she's putting a ring on that represents a marriage that may not even be real at all. So that thing that is valuable to her that she doesn't want to be tortured with is in itself its own torture device.
They're trying to be a little artsy-fartsy with the show. I'll give them that. But yeah, it just... I don't know. Yeah.
Well, listen, what we do know is that the report came back and it was classified on her level. It was all blacked out. So now she's thinking, oh, well, his gun is traced to something serious. This isn't good. And then you come to find out it had to do with the murder of like a Homeland Security, some bigwig guy. Matt, do you remember?
No. Yeah, it was some Homeland Security guy.
Yeah, and now, so her bosses know she was looking. So I guess her bosses have an idea now that there's something going on. But I don't think they know it's her husband, right?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I'm excited to know about that, man. That's really one of the things that's keeping me about this show. What is the relationship between Spader and Keene, or Reddington and Keene? Who's the peach-eating man? Who is her husband? Who works for Reddington on the inside? Like, does that blonde guy work for Reddington? The guy who was fighting like a 1970s action TV show? That was horrible fighting, I must say.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was hard. It was like Star Trek, actually. It was punch, punch, kick. Same punch, 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 kick. Oh, it was pretty funny. There's a lot of things that are really drawing me in. I'm very excited to know what's happening with that husband, and I'm hoping he's not a good guy, because we need a regular villain. Like, I'm hoping that he is involved somehow with the surveillance people, the Peach Man, and they're at ends with Reddington, and Reddington's trying to protect Elizabeth from the Peach Man and her husband. So, and I'm hoping they become the main adversaries. 'Cause I think the show needs a running villain. What do you guys think? Would you be happy with a running villain, or?
I
I
think
would
that's
be.
a really good idea, and I think your theory from earlier probably makes the most sense. And that is the father is the bad guy, and the uncle is trying to protect her.
It's the most touching story, right? It's the most touching, and it's not the usual thing. It's, oh, okay, we've heard the story of the father protecting his daughter, but then when the uncle protects the daughter from the father, that's a man stepping beyond the call of duty. Well, not beyond the call of duty. It's a man meeting his responsibilities in life where most men don't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, and if they go that route, I'll be very pleased. So
Well, that's what
hopefully
you got to be
they
looking
do.
for, Johans. You got to be looking for. Just keep asking these questions. If the show is giving you questions, it's doing its job. If it's providing you cheap thrills, it's doing its job. If you're getting a laugh at a James Spader's creepy awkwardness, it's doing its job.
Right.
I was going to say, not all shows that just continue giving you questions, is that a good thing? For example, Lost.
That's true. That's true. But this show has when they can deliver question after question, that's like a masterpiece. And that's a show that I really love to watch. Like Breaking Bad did that for maybe well, they didn't really do that. They just kept you in a different kind of suspense. What's a really good show that kept you questioning? 24 did it for a while, for at least one season. They had you on the edge of the seats, and every minute there was a new twist.
X-Files.
I've only seen the movies of X-Files.
Oh, well, then you fail.
I know.
The first season of Dexter did that to me. Kept me guessing.
Yeah, Dexter was good in the beginning.
The first season, yes. Yeah. I thought that was very suspenseful.
Well, I just want to say I still think the show has a whole lot of potential. I do see your points, Johans, but I do not agree with them as far as to say it's not doing it for me. I actually kind of was so enwrapped in this episode, I didn't want to take notes. I just wanted to watch. You know, I found myself enjoying it because and that's what it is. It's for enjoyment. It's not necessarily a show that should be discussed so much, as I said earlier. It's just something that should be enjoyed, and I am.
Okay, yeah, no, I like I said before, I totally agree with that. I was just saying, for some reason tonight it wasn't doing it for me.
Whoops, sorry, my mic was still on there.
But like I said, maybe I gotta watch the episode again.
What else, you guys? Like anything else stand out for you guys? Because that literally covered all the main points that I can remember from the episode.
Not that I can think of.
One line was she said today she didn't want to do it, and this is our last thing, and we'll get out of here. She didn't want to do it because the guy's a spy killer, Wu Jing, and she's like, you want to send me in to spy on a spy killer and pretend to be a cryptologist is that it? No, not a crypto. Yeah, right. You want me to pretend to be something I'm not and spy on a spy killer? I'm not doing it. You know, my husband just got killed. My life's being torn apart. I'm not doing it. And they essentially, well, first off, they bully her and they peer pressure her. The blonde guy's like, you see those faces? It's all on you if another one dies. Smoke this cigarette. And she did it. You know, she did it, but she said to Reddington, I want to know. I'll do this for you. I'll do what you want, but you have to tell me why me. So after everything happened, the two of them are in the limo. Well, there was that weird moment where they were in the Wu Jing's underground bunker, and she was on the computer, and he started rubbing her back with his thumb. There was that weird moment in between, and then we get to the car.
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know.
I think the thumb was Morse code. I think the thumb was Morse code.
Very well could have been. That's
how they were communicating, because she was typing out what he was saying, and then she was typing out her response.
See, that's friggin' genius, man. Johan, we need to start paying more attention.
Yeah.
That's pretty genius.
Yeah, I agree.
But so they get to the limo, and she says, "Listen, you got to tell me now. Why me? I did what you wanted. Now you come through at your end." And his face twitched. He did not. He was like, "Shit, how do I answer this? How do I get away with this one?" And he goes, simply says, "It's because of your father." as vague as he can be, but yet still delivering an answer. So we definitely know it is because of her father. So it's either him or the Peach Man. So at least we're going in a direction now. We have a real good idea.
Yes.
All right. Well, unless anybody has any other points about this episode they want to discuss, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. All right.
What about that scene where James Spader very awkwardly eats a banana?
Oh, that was my favorite scene. Well, I really liked after he finished the banana and he got to the 2 plums. That was the best scene of the night, I gotta say.
Yes, I agree, absolutely.
Next week he's frying up some sausages, and it's gonna be a grand time. Maple syrup. And thank you guys for having this discussion. World, there's Matt Moore over there with his fedora that's been honored by the one and only Neil Patrick Harris. This man is a walking legend of 1980s connections. Talk about 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of Matt Moore. He's been with Zach Morris. He's been with Doogie Howser. He's been with Garfield, John Arbuckle. He's run
David Boreanaz.
Gambit. Yes, he's floated with the Angels. And here he is on the Geeks of the Round.
Yes.
And tomorrow I'm doing a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. discussion. So don't forget about that shit.
How are you liking that show so far?
I guess you're not watching a discussion.
That tomorrow.
I very well may try to get there. I do want to say that since I saw you guys weren't completely fawning over it last week, might make me more apt to contribute. I liked the show. I definitely did, but I did find some issues with it. And the first episode was such a love fest, and I was falling asleep. I had to slip out of there because I didn't want to crap on anybody's parade, like even with the smallest of comments. Because my comments about the show are petty. It's another thing just like this. These are shows that either you love them or you hate them. I really don't know that there's in between. These are things that are meant for certain people. So, with that said, I'm gonna start loving both of these shows. I just got to catch up on S.H.I.E.L.D. And I gotta forget about some of the small little things. Just like this show, there are little things that you'll never avoid on network television, and I'm just gonna forget about them and start enjoying the experience a little better. Just like life. And we have Wednesday, the premiere of American Horror Story Coven. I'm so excited. You can't see because the camera's only up to here, but you don't know what's going on down here.
That's excited. Tomorrow?
Yes, it comes on the televisions. It comes on the televisions.
It comes on the televisions. Oh, okay.
Yes, on the televisions, on the channel FX.
Okay.
At what time? 9 p.m.?
10 p.m. 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Check your local cable listings for times.
I just want to point out that you can be part of my hangout and still watch that show, and they will not get in the way of each other.
When's the hangout for it?
The hangout is the following day. The following day, this time. It's 8 o'clock by you. It's the 8 hour now, right, Matt? By you?
It is 8:36 right now.
8:36 for you, yes. 11:36 for Johans and I. Johan Solo. Yes, we will be here Thursday night, 11 o'clock. Matt, you coming to that? You watching the show this year or not?
I unfortunately work on Thursday nights.
Aha. Oh, you're out scaring people yourself, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Well, so am I, but I don't get paid to do it.
I get paid very little
right now. So that is Thursday, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific. We'll do the discussion, American Horror Story Coven. It's looking like it's going to be a big turnout. A lot of people said they're going to come, but we don't know what happens on Google sometimes.
Oh, Google.
1 week, guys. Walking Dead. Deano Jackson will be doing his discussion of that.
Hopefully it's better this
freaking
season.
Shut your stupid bearded mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut it and never open it again.
You know what was really weird?
I'm sorry, but
what was really weird was yesterday not having a hangout on a Monday night.
You know,
I didn't know what to do with myself.
I slept.
Yeah.
I slept.
I don't remember what I did.
No. You remember. You just can't say it.
You got me there.
Yeah, we have to tag this video as explicit.
Just like Rick Reddington, Johann Phillips likes to play with himself in private. And that'll do it.
I guess me and James Spader have more in common than I thought.
I guess so. Besides the dead sexiness between the two of you. Matt, are there any other shows we're missing about pimping here?
Walking Dead, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Coven. I think we're running out of shows.
I think so. I think we better take some more on.
Let's see. The Simpsons. Let's do a Simpsons discussion.
Oh yeah, we'll be here. We'll be here for the next 50 years.
Oh wait, is this gonna be the last season?
Eastbound and Down. Eastbound and Down should at least get a mention here. I had a thought of that. Do you watch it, Matt? I know you do, Johan.
Oh yes.
I watch it occasionally.
I think it's going to be like Curb Your Enthusiasm, where they start every year. They're telling you this is it. This is our last season, and then 2 years later they come back with another season when they have another story to tell. This season's going really good. Anybody who's not watching Eastbound and Down, watch all 3 seasons that existed already and get your ass up to date, because last night or Sunday night's episode was just amazing.
If you're a fan of Danny McBride, it's a must-watch. If you're just a fan of him and his style of comedy
Matt does
in general,
not agree.
No, I love Danny McBride. He cracks
my thought
up.
is if you like the shows like Curb Your Enthusiasm and what's that one with Danny DeVito?
Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, if you like Sunny in Philadelphia, if you like that kind of comedy, then Eastbound and Down is totally for you. I do not like that type of comedy. Sorry.
No.
So you don't like Trailer Park Boys?
I've never seen it, so probably not.
Really? Well, I guess not.
What is your taste in comedy?
Generally highbrow.
Don't tell me Grown Ups too.
Yeah. Please don't tell me you're an Adam Sandler fan.
Depending.
Listen, I looked back at Adam Sandler's body of work, and really, he's only done 2 bad movies, but they were so bad that they have tarnished him to no end.
No, he's done more than 2 bad
Go
movies.
read his IMDb.
He's done.
But that's a whole nother show, and that's why we really need to do one of these where we just yammer about all things, because it just seems to happen. Definitely go look at that IMDb. I'm telling you, you look through the list, and I thought the same thing as you, that he did a whole bunch of stinkers. There's Jack and Jill, and there's That's My Boy, and the rest of them you really can't call that much of stinkers. He did a couple kids movies. Can't judge that.
Hey,
but,
I loved Punch Drunk Love, but again, that wasn't a comedy.
No.
I was gonna say, like, one of the movies that didn't do all that great, I actually really enjoyed, and that was his animated one, his cartoon.
Oh, 8 Crazy Nights.
8 Crazy Nights.
Yeah. No, I actually thought
that.
I thought that one wasn't that bad either. I kind of agree with that.
It's one of my top 5 Christmas time movies, and I know it's not Christmas, it's Kwanzaa, but still Christmas time movies.
Right, yeah. Hey, one of mine is Gremlins, so you know.
I stopped watching cartoons after my childhood was stolen from me.
Well,
Really? Because that's when I started watching cartoons.
Nah, I gave up. I don't know. I lost my interest in cartoons. I don't know why. It's very hard. Futurama sometimes the Seth MacFarlane shows, the typical adult cartoon fare sometimes. But I used to be obsessed. Before Family Guy got taken off the air, it was one of my favorite things. Used to watch the DVDs nonstop, and then it came back on the air. I watched one season, and then lost my cartoon love.
Well, yeah, because it completely changed when it came back. It wasn't.
But it's all cartoons. I can't even watch Archer, and Archer is like an Arrested Development fan orgasm show. If that makes fucking sense.
Yeah, it does. And that's just it. Is that there's a bunch of animated shows that I lump into that same thing too, and that's one of them. Archer and Squidbillies and Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I can't watch those shows.
I can't watch Aqua Teen. Well, I can't watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Squidbillies. At least I can't watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force anymore.
I think I could. I think if I put on Aqua Teen right now, I think I could watch that for hours. That one cartoon, I think I could watch for hours. It's just, it's so friggin' ridiculous that I'm a fan of ridiculous.
Yeah, all right.
Except for when Rob Dyrdek hosts it.
So I just want to point out that we've talked about 15 minutes of this Blacklist discussion has not been about Blacklist.
Yes, we've had a 15-minute goodbye, and it's all Johan's fault. Why?
Yep.
Because it's all those little hobbits living in his beard, sending thoughts into his brain.
Yeah, damn hobbits.
All right, it's time for some Grand Theft Auto Online. Any geeks that are around out there watching, joining? I'll see you in Los Santos, fuckers. And, I don't know, I have no more words. Guys, it was a wonderful evening. I enjoyed these intimate conversations.
Peace.
Good evening.
Good night.